The Nigerian Navy has recovered more stolen crude oil from thieves operating in the Warri-Udu axis of the state.
I agree with the notion, and I must say, damn it, the oil belongs to Namibia.
Shell, headquartered in the United Kingdom, has discovered fresh oil in an exploratory well offshore Namibia, using the Northern Ocean's Deepsea Bollsta semi-submersible drilling rig. When Shell disclosed its third significant oil discovery in Namibia, it had the potential to shake up global markets, bringing nations to their knees and sparking violence. However, this latest offshore oil discovery could either be a blessing or a curse for one of Africa's most unequal countries. Could this be the key to unleashing Namibia's potential as a global oil market player? How will this fresh revelation affect the global economy? Activists fear that Shell's oil discovery in Namibia won't benefit the Namibians. But why? Sit tight to the end of today's video to learn more about all of this. Shell and Qatar Energy have discovered fresh oil at a deep-water exploration well about 270 kilometers offshore Namibia, the country's third in less than a year. The discovery of light oil in the PEL 39 license in the Orange Basin off the coast of southern Namibia was announced by QE, Qatar Energy, which has a 45% non-operating ownership in the block, and Namibia's state-owned Namcor, which has a 10% stake. Shell, which owns a 45% stake in the license, has yet to make an announcement. The discovery was made at the Jonker 1X deepwater well, which was dug in ocean depths around 2,200 meters, according to QE. Drilling at the well began in December and was completed a few days ago. Neither QE nor Namcor has produced a reserve estimate, citing the need for additional appraisal work to establish the extent and potential of the discovery. The announcement further solidifies Namibia's image as a frontier exploration hotspot. It's the third oil discovery in a single year. The other two were likewise in the Orange Basin, which stretches from southern Namibia to South Africa's east coast. In early February 2022, the same group reported a discovery at the Graph 1 well, also under the same PEL 39 license. A few weeks later, a new consortium, Total Energies, QE, UK-based Independent Impact Oil and Gas, and Namcor, announced a separate light oil discovery at the Venus 1X well in the PEL 56 license. The Jonker discovery comes less than 2 weeks after Total Energies announced a multi-well drilling campaign to evaluate the Venus discovery. Total Energies has stated that it intends to invest half of its exploration budget in 2023 in Namibia. According to the business, Venus might contain at least 5 billion barrels of oil, equivalent to recoverable oil and gas. According to Wood Mackenzie, it might hold up to 6 billion barrels of oil and perhaps treble if the appraisal drilling succeeds. Total Energies owns a 40% ownership in the PEL 56 license, while QE, Impact Oil and Gas, and Namcor own 30%, 20%, and 10% respectively. The Venus drilling program, if successful, will yield 2 possibly fully assessed early production centers, according to Impact Oil and Gas. Namibia's recent oil and gas discoveries present a transformative chance to restructure the country's economic structure, enhance foreign reserves, and transform the country into a regional energy market player. Namibia must create competent and accountable institutions under growth-enhancing policies to avoid the resource curse. According to Gawa Hub's investment proposals, specific incentive packages are required to mitigate the investment risks early adopters encounter in the oil and gas sector and related activities. This could be extended to other strategic areas. Environmental and climate-related issues, according to the governor, underline the tremendous influence that oil production can have on the environment, and as such, developing measures to reduce these impacts will be critical. He stated there was a need to increase local value creation and industrialization. The draft local content policy should especially drive to maximize the benefits to Namibian nationals. While oil can offer significant money in the short term, the governor urged that the country's economic structure be diversified to lessen Namibia's reliance on a single commodity. Can Namibia turn oil into prosperity? New oil discoveries could boost Namibia's fortunes if the country avoids a resource boom's economic and political risks. The recent discovery of substantial crude oil deposits off the coast of Namibia has sparked debate about the fate of the thinly populated country, whose economy has been driven by mining, agriculture, fishing, and tourism. Namibia and South Africa are the world's most unequal income and wealth distribution societies, with Gini index values of 59.1 and 63 respectively. Together with Zambia, they position 3 members of the Southern African Development Community, or SADC, among the 4 most unequal countries in the world. The oil discovery solidifies Namibia's status among the region's resource-rich countries, with a history of strife over assets such as minerals, oil, and gas. It sparked speculation about whether oil development could assist Namibia in doubling its GDP by 2040. And it has the potential to affect not only the country's growth, but also the development of the SADC as a whole, with successful exploration and management of oil revenue in Namibia giving value to the other countries in the region. Inequality and growing poverty. Poverty, inequality, and unemployment are the scourges plaguing SADC's post-independence democracies. Namibia is no exception, with its population relying heavily on subsistence agriculture. Despite living in a resource belt, the region's disproportionately young population is increasingly irritated by worsening socioeconomic conditions. Poverty has led to widespread disillusionment among Namibia's youth, as indicated by a dramatic drop in support for the ruling SWAPO, Southwest Africa People's Organization, in the 2020 local government elections. SWAPO's liberation credentials, which include guiding the country to independence in 1975, needed to meet hopes for leading Namibia to economic development. The threat of corruption. Local government failings in South Africa, combined with weekly disclosures of corruption by African National Congress leaders, resulted in a significant electoral fall in the 2021 elections, with the long-dominant party obtaining fewer than half of all votes cast. In Namibia, corruption in the allocation of fishing quotas is regarded to have doomed SWAPO in the 2020 municipal elections, indicating a likely shift in a political trajectory not seen since independence. Disclosures that SWAPO officials accepted bribes for fishing rights raised doubts about whether the country's recent oil find would indeed double its GDP by 2040, or perhaps exacerbate its political and socio-economic difficulties even sooner. As SWAPO struggles to maintain power despite failing to manage public resources effectively, one must wonder if the recent discoveries would not lead to new scandals, similar to the fish rot case. There's substance in the notion that the enormous oil profits predicted to flow in Namibia could lead to economic prosperity, with beneficial consequences for the SADC. Alternatively, the wealth could feed new levels of corruption, escalating societal tensions and jeopardizing government stability, contributing to a troubling regional trend of conflict centered on extractive resources such as oil and gas. Nations with a history of liberation movements are constantly at risk of full-fledged conflict due to resource richness. In these countries, resource nationalism rhetoric frequently dominates the public debate, risking political stability. Growing dissatisfaction with the poor management of exploration income has sparked debate over resource nationalization. Liberation parties in the SADC have failed to eradicate such ideologies because they appeal to politicians seeking to keep power over a disgruntled population. In this environment of resource-related conflict, Namibia's oil findings should raise red signals about the subsequent hazards unless the country's ruling elites reaffirm their commitment. The fact that SWAPO is heavily involved in the fish rot corruption case foreshadows what may very well lie ahead for Namibia, which currently possesses the region's most outstanding reserves. Namibia may face a more prosperous future, but may also succumb to the resource curse of huge corruption and the erosion of democracy. Communities in the larger region already do not generate benefit from resource-driven riches. Policy incoherence and corruption eventually weaken states' ability to respond to pressing challenges like poverty and unemployment, posing a significant danger to democratic stability and social cohesion. With rising conflicts in the extractive industries, SADC governments must be more transparent in handling the funds earned. This would allow nations to compare their progress towards developing goals through resource extraction. These are labor-intensive industries with the potential to help poor communities. The discovery of oil in Namibia and extractive industries across the SADC region could change lives for the better if managed effectively and with accountability, as long as they're not turned into instruments for fading liberation parties seeking to stay in power. SADC member states' solidarity and collaboration could assist in ensuring such an outcome. What actions should Namibia and the SADC region take to guarantee that the oil revenue benefits the whole population? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And while you're still here, make sure to click on the video on your screen for more quality content.